What I'm going to show right here is this is going to be how I would grade your sites if I'm in the building. Outside the building, I have to do something else in order for me to have access to it, but that doesn't matter to you, but I just basically copy the whole entire folder. What you would do is you're going to go under your Students Shared. You'll go to SHS, you go to Assignment Submit, grahical, Web Design. Now, you can see everyone's folder, correct?
Yeah.
I can see all of the items within the folder. You can only see your items in your own folder. That's the nature of the Assignment Submit folder. Does that make sense? So, this would be what I would do to make sure that you have everything published correctly for Chapter 3. Many of you already have published your Chapter 2. I have graded it. I've given you feedback. Some of you are going to say you have Chapter 3 done, but you didn't actually publish it. And once you say you've published it and I go to grade it, if you don't have the work done, what's going to happen to your grade? 0. I want to make sure that you have a way of double checking what went out there. So what you would do, Abby, you have your 3 out there, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to use Abby's example here, and I'm going to go ahead and go under blooms and bulbs. So I would go right here, and basically all I'm seeing is this is what I would actually see right now. If I was going to grade, one of the things on your grade sheet that I want to see is you have your external style sheet. There's your external style sheet. So I know that she made that. As of right here, I don't know which one she has it linked to, but I can very easily check that without actually using Dreamweaver. Okay? If not, she can change it because I'm not grading it yet. So I physically grade all of your work in the browser just like this. How can I tell about her style sheets?
Page source.
Yes, I need to view your page source. Okay, so I would right click, view page source, and then I could check up on the very top. And right here, this is where I checked all of your titles before. I also checked keywords and descriptions before. And right here, I can see she has that style sheet linked. Okay? It also had you go through and remove a style sheet or a style from the embedded one and put it into there. And I can still see what style sheet's there. So I would physically be looking at your code when I'm grading these assignments. Okay? So I would do a quick check here, and then I would go through and actually look here at Gardens Tips to see how everything comes across. I don't think your featured plants link worked, Abby. She's not listening.
Oh, I hear you.
Okay. Nothing is on newsletters. Nothing's on workshop, but I can see that they're linked. And what I do is I still click on it because up on the top here, I check to make sure that the link is going correct. So like when I click on featured plants, you notice it doesn't go to featured plants, it goes to index, which is feedback I gave you on Chapter 1, but you didn't change it yet.
Oh, I can change it and then correct it?
It'll be wrong against the next time, so I suggest that you make changes. So this would be what I would do. Okay? Now, by default, if I try to open up this file with that green image on the top, what program is going to launch? Dreamweaver. Why? On my computer here, when we first launched Dreamweaver, it asked me, do I want Dreamweaver to be the default program to open CSS files? Okay. So here at school, I would double click on it and it would go ahead and open up in Dreamweaver. If I'm at home and I don't have Dreamweaver on my computer at home, when I'm grading these for your assignment, I could actually open it up in Notepad, and then I would double check to see your coding that would come up. Okay? So that's a way for you to check to make sure that what you have out there is actually right. So for example, if you said that you put blooms and bulbs out there, but you really didn't have anything on your plants page yet, and I went to look at it, that's to be the section that you get as a 0. So you could go double check by going here under your assignment submit, your folder, and just opening it up and checking to see if everything worked correctly. Okay, so that's just as a reminder on that part of it. All right, let's go ahead and work in Dreamweaver Chapter 4.
What are we going to do this Thursday?
Keep going. I'm on page 414. We are working on the About Us page. If you would please open up About Us. You will recall on Wednesday when we worked last together, we put the clubhouse image on there. Striped umbrella. We put the clubhouse up there. We also went through and put on the boardwalk. And here is where we went through and inserted the logo. I showed you how to do the Adobe Bridge, but when we clicked on insert, it did not actually work. But just so you're aware, that is another option for it to put another image in. What I want to do now is I want to have Dreamweaver actually add a border to our image for the clubhouse. So if you select your clubhouse image, down here on the bottom, with my image selected down here in my properties panel, right here, there's a spot that I can actually by default put a border on the image. And what you will do is you will type in a number, and the number is going to indicate the width pixel border that would appear. So right here with the clubhouse picture selected, right here on border, let's go ahead and put in 1. And then when you click off, okay, and then let's go ahead and do the same thing to boardwalk. We'll put in a border there of 1 pixel. Now let's save that. Preview that in browser. Keyboard shortcut for that is F12. Now, mine again looks different because my monitor is not as wide as yours. Can you see the border on it when you preview it? Thin black line all the way around. It's easier to see on like the top blue part where it's not the same color. What's that? Yes, shows up in the browser, but not in Dreamweaver as well. Okay, now look at this. What I don't like right here, look how tight that text is to the image. You'd have to agree that does not look very nice.
It does not.
It does not. I think we should change that. And we're going to change that by modifying our horizontal and vertical space. So back in Dreamweaver, let's go ahead and make sure that we have selected our clubhouse image. Down here on the bottom, we have something here called V space and H space. Okay, V is going to stand for vertical. H is going to stand for horizontal. So let's go ahead and put in 10 for each one of those. And what do you think that 10 represents? Pixels. And you will notice when you put them in, and as soon as you click off, it actually adjusts the space. And when you did that, you can even see in Dreamweaver how it gave us a little white edge around our picture. Yay!
You increase the border?
No. V space and H space. You have to have your image selected.
Yep.
Let's do the same thing for our boardwalk. Give it a vertical and horizontal space of 10. Save that. Let's preview it again. I don't think my space saved on my boardwalk. My H space did not save. And I'll show you how I could tell. Look at my boardwalk here. Do you see how I didn't have any space here? I did not hit tab for that 10 to stay in before I hit save. And when I went back into Dreamweaver, I can see right here that it did not have anything in for H space, so I need to put that in. And then hit save again. go to my browser and hit refresh. And now I have right here white space around each image. Looks nicer? Very easy to do. Now, let's take a look at what our code looks like for that. So again, just have one of those images selected, and I'm going to go to split screen. When I look at my coding on here, basically it added it within my image source. It added H space and V space and put in a number. We also have border there and our alignment, which we went through and set. We can see our alt tag also shows up within our coding. Again, instead of us having to type all that code in by just typing that in our properties panels, doing some settings, it goes ahead right into our code. Now, we can actually go through and edit some of our image settings. Select your boardwalk image, okay? What we want to do is we want to click right here on this little link on edit. Do you see where that is? Okay. So with your boardwalk image selected, you're going to click right there, and we're going to edit image settings. You're going to get this pop-up window. What we can do is over here on the left-hand side, right now, what type of file is this? PNG. So I can actually go from the drop-down menu. I can actually switch and have it be a JPEG. Okay? And when I choose JPEG, I can notice that the file size in the preview panel is much smaller than PNG. Do you see the difference? Hang on. Let me point out the file size. Right there, do you see our file size? Yeah. On PNG. And when you switch to JPEG, compare. Why are we concerned about file size?
Load faster.
Load faster. And we don't want people to wait for this wonderful boardwalk image to load and then be frustrated and leave our site. So I'm going to switch it to JPEG. Notice that you do have options here for quality and different things, but the file size is smaller. All I need to do right now is just click on OK. And what's going to come up is it's going to give me an option to give this new JPEG image a name. And what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and save it with the same name, but where? Under Assets. You have to go under your Assets folder. And I can go ahead and click Save. Now, I'm going to now look at my Assets panel, but I have to hit the refresh button in my Assets panel. Notice, I have two boardwalks in there. One is PNG and one is JPEG. PNG one is nice, but how big is it? PNG one is way too big. So we could delete it. We'll leave it there for now because I want you to be aware of the fact that you can have it in there. But is the PNG one actually used anywhere now? No, because we actually changed it. You will see down here in our properties panel, the actual image that we have on our page is going to be the JPEG one. Okay, let's go ahead and change our alt text. Select your Clubhouse image. Right now, our alt tag down here on the very bottom just says Clubhouse. But I want it to be a little bit more specific. So let's type in the striped umbrella Clubhouse. The striped umbrella Clubhouse. And a boardwalk just says boardwalk to the beach. Let's go ahead and change it so it says the boardwalk to the beach. So if you put an image in there and you didn't like the alt tag you put in right away, you can always go back right here in your properties panel with your image selected and change your alt tag to something else you would like. So if you forget to do it or you want to change it, you can do that. Again, the boardwalk image, you're going to change your alt tag to say the boardwalk to the beach. Let's go ahead and save that page. Now, we want to check our accessibility options, making sure that this is going to be good for people with disabilities. And Dreamweaver will help us do that. To do that, up in the very top in our menu bar, we want to click on the word Edit. Okay, up on the very top in your menu bar, click on Edit. Then on the very bottom, we're going to go to Preferences. Okay, after you click on Edit and Preferences, you are going to get this that's going to come up, and on the left hand side you want to click Accessibility Category, which is the second from the top. And what you want to make sure is you actually have all of these items selected. Okay? Don't worry about the Keep Focus in Panel and Opening, because that option is not available and we don't need to worry about that. But basically what we want to have is anytime there's a form object, frames, media, or images, that we make sure it has alt tag on it when we insert it. So having those selected is good. So we would just click on OK. So that's a way for anytime we put an image in that Dreamweaver would make sure that we do it correctly. Now, I was actually on a site today. Let's see if I can find it. Now this site isn't terrible, except there's something I don't like about it. We'll see what you think. This is a friend of mine's construction business in northwestern Wisconsin. Okay, so here I'm on the first page. So I can, right here the image goes over a word. I'm going to go to garages. Okay, so I looked at this site. I'm going to look at additions. Well, not a lot of info. Anything else you're noticing? It does take a long time to load, especially here in this building. So imagine if we were on slow internet. Decks and patio.
You really hate that website.
Basically, we have images, and I can actually click on this image then, and this image will pop up. No, you're not seeing what else? All right. Not a lot of information. Basically, if I want information, I got to call there, right? I'm not really going to buy a house online. No one's noticing it. I'm trying to point it out. What about my scrolling?
It's glitchy.
The background doesn't move.
Background doesn't move. And my background is what? It is an image. Okay. Now, I don't have a problem with the background being a house because what is the point of this site? It's a construction, so obviously it's highlighting construction, correct? And every page, when we get to it, I do like that this spot right here stays consistent. But because of that background image, how long does it take to load? Kind of a long time. And then we do have over here on the right-hand side, we have these links also.
They're the same links?
Same links as on the top.
That's ridiculous.
Okay. But it's this background image, and that's what we're going to learn how to do next, is put a background image on. Now, what happens when I'm not on a giant site? Like when I don't have my screen maximized? Yeah, I would have to scroll over. So those are things to think about, especially when you use a background image. It does fit the screen when I go big. I don't know what it looks like if I were to drag it across both of my monitors. Let's see. All right. Well, this is really hard for you to see because it's split between two screens. But what happens is this background image is now stretched from this side of my monitor to this side. So the house stays the same, but it gets bigger. And it's actually not too pixely. So what does that tell you about the image quality of it?
Good.
Pretty good. So what does that tell you about the download time? Long time, because it's such a high quality image, which is good because you don't want to have a grainy picture of of a house. But it is going to affect your download time. But the whole point of me showing you this site, and it's not as bad as our Seymour High School webpage. By the way, I did tell somebody that's in charge of like the district stuff that I use the Seymour High School webpage as an example of bad web pages all the time, and she laughed at me. But I said it's true. But we're going to go through and put an image on the background of this, okay? So, on the About Us page, let's go ahead and go to Modify, Page Properties. Now, what we have here for our Modify Page Properties is you will notice that here on this page, notice that it says Appearance CSS and I have Appearance HTML. Okay? If I did HTML, basically all of my changes that I would do would appear right in the HTML code. If I choose Appearance CSS, where is it going to appear? In my CSS style in my head tag. It's not going to be on the external one. Okay? So what I can do right here on my Appearance CSS, do you see where it says background image? Yeah. Let's click on Browse. And guess where it's going to be? Chapter 4. And we're going to find the file that says, it's called Umbrella Back. Umbrella Back.
I already did that, and then I screwed it up. So what if I already have it in here?
Okay. So I have Umbrella Back GIF is going to be there. And I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. Okay.
How do you do that?
Now, the image that we put in the background ties into our logo for the business. Would you agree? Striped umbrella. And notice that this umbrella is very similar to that umbrella. Not exactly. But we would not want to have this orange and yellow umbrella as the background. Because why? It would. Oh, Taylor stole my scissors.
I don't like the reading thing.
Now, does it make it easier or hard to read?
Harder.
Harder.
Let's use the stripes back.
Now, the other thing that you will notice is when we inserted that image, unlike the house image, what happens with this umbrella? What is it doing?
It's repeating.
It's repeating because basically what's happening is we have a small image and it's being repeated. What is the file size on this small image? Big or little? Tiny. So is it going to increase our download time?
No.
No. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and change that image. Go back to our Modify Page Properties. And let's change it from Umbrella Back to Stripes Back. And click on OK. Now what is happening with our striped image?
Whoa.
Is it repeating? Yes, it is.
But it's not that hard to read.
Makes it a little bit easier to read. Did those images go in my assets folder?
No.
Yes.
No. No.
Mine did.
Right here, when I hit refresh on my assets folder, even though I don't have the umbrella one in the background anymore, it's still in my assets. Why? Because we told it to go there, and then we changed our mind and to put the new one in there. So just be aware, because we clicked on it, and even though it's no longer on my page, it is still in my assets folder. Let's go ahead and go to modify page properties. And we're going to take the image off. So I'll highlight it, and I'm just going to hit delete. So there's nothing there for background image, and then click on OK. And what did that do? Made it plain white again. A lot of times people will get really excited because they think a background image is going to be really cool, and then basically what happens is people look at the background image and not the content. What's that? The striped one wasn't too bad, but we're going to put it back to white. Okay. Now, we have a whole bunch of extra stuff in our assets panel now, don't we?
Yeah.
We need to work on that. Let's clean that up. Do you see the striped back in your assets panel?
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to highlight that, and we are going to throw it away. How would we throw it away? Or I'll just hit the delete button on my keyboard. My computer is freezing up. It's freaking out on me. Did you get yours to delete?
Yeah.
All right. Mine's catching up. I'm going to save mine. Huh. You can delete stripes back. Umbrella back. Mine's not deleting either. It's being a pain. I'm going to close the page and open it back up. What's up? I just said the same thing. Mine didn't either, so I'm going to close it and open back up.
I just deleted mine.
We're supposed to be able to do it in here.
Deleting the back.
Alright. I'm having difficulty deleting it from my assets panel, but we can do it right from our assets folder. Let's just do that one. It's being a pain for me. We'll do stripes back and umbrella back here, and I can hit delete.
Yeah.
It's going to say, do you really want to delete the files? I'll say yes. So basically, you should no longer have those in your assets folder. Am I going to be able to see what is in your assets folder when I grade?
Yeah.
Yes, I will be. All I have to do is open it up, that assets folder, and I'll see exactly what's in there.
Would you know if we ever did that or not? Like, what it's background?
Right now, you're doing it to learn how to do it, but on future ones, you just have to do what it says. Does that make sense?
He's trying to ask if he doesn't do it, can you see that he didn't do it?
Yes. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is there are some images that we can use, or colors we can use on a web page, but it does not necessarily mean that they are web safe colors. So, what I'm going to do right up here in my assets panels, I'm going to switch from image to colors. Make this a little bit different. And right here on my assets panel, do you see when I switched right here to colors? Right here, it's showing me the colors that are used on my site. Notice to the right of it, what is it telling me? That they are web safe. Okay? If they're not web safe, you would have an opportunity to go in and then change them. If you see a non-web safe color listed on the site, what you'd want to do is point to the advanced and then click Recreate Site Cache. The non-website color should then be removed from the site panel. Okay? You should remove any colors you have experimented with unless you have saved the page with the color left on it. Okay? If you see extra color, use the Find and Replace command to locate it, and then remove it from the page and refresh the Assets panel again. I'm reading the note for you on page 423. Web Content Accessibility Guides, WCAG, states that websites should not rely on the use of color alone. That means if your website content depends on the viewer correctly seeing color, then you're not providing for those people who cannot distinguish between certain colors or do not have monitors that display colors. Do you remember the old monitors that used to just be gray and green?
Yeah.
Okay. Some people might actually still use those. Be especially careful when using color with text so you provide good contrast between the text and the background. Okay. So just showing you right here, we can see what is not web safe. All right, we are almost done with chapter 4. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use an image, and we're actually going to go through and link an image. Go ahead and place your insertion point to the right of the striped umbrella logo. So do not have the logo selected. Okay? My cursor is blinking to the immediate right of the striped umbrella logo. And then I'm going to go ahead and insert a new image. And I'm going to get that from chapter 4, and that's going to be called Map Small.
Oh, I didn't know where I left this one. Just saw that now. What are we supposed to do?
Okay. I insert an image called Map Small, and it's going to have alt text that reads Map to the striped umbrella.
Wait, how do we do that?
It's directly to the right of the striped umbrella logo. Okay, and then we went under Insert and then Image. Alt tag again reads Map to the striped umbrella. Let's set our vertical and horizontal space to 30.
Map large or map small?
Small. I set my vertical and horizontal space for Map Small to 30. Now, what I want to do is I want, if somebody clicks on that image, to actually go to our large map. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link it. And you'll notice with my image selected right here, I have an option for link. So what I need to do is I have to click on the folder button and actually go to that map big, or map large, excuse me. You have to go back up to chapter 4, Assets, choose Map Large, it should not give you an alt text because it's linking, it's not, you're not inserting it.
Oh, you linked it?
I linked it.
You
I
said
said linked it. No, I said click right here on the folder, go to chapter 4, and you were linking it. You're not inserting it. Now, go to the end of the paragraph that ends beachwear period. Hit enter. Type in a paragraph that reads, click the map below to view a larger size image. So that way they know that that image is a link to another one. You can go ahead and save that and F12 it. What would happen is when I put my cursor over the map, it turns from an arrow to a hand that points, and I click on it, opens up a new image of the map.
To view a larger what?
Image.
Okay, the next thing I'm going to talk about is going to be favicons. I like favicons. But you have to understand what favicons are. And you're going to see favicons when you turn around and look here.
Actually, no favicons are. I actually did that one.
Okay. So what you see right here is going to be my Chrome browser. And you can see I have just a few tabs open. Just a few. Actually, I had a lot more earlier open. But I can see favicons right here. Right here.
Drive, document,
So this is Drive, Doc,
spreadsheet,
Sheets,
It's the one of
Doc,
mine,
Sheets.
Google Plus,
Google Plus,
Gmail,
Google,
Google.
Pandora.
No.
Not Pandora. Power School. That's Pandora. Applia. This one you guys won't know, that's Snap 2010. And this is the favicon for our striped umbrella. Do you like it?
No.
I don't like it either. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to add a favicon to our site. So we don't see ugliness and plainness. We're going to add a pretty image. But you have to design favicons to be the right size. And what you can do is you can actually create or take an image and go to a favicon generator, and it will take an image and create a favicon to the right size and dimensions. And it is not a regular .jpg file in order for it to be a favicon. I believe it's an ICO file. So it's an image, but it has a .ico extension at the end, and that's what tells your site, bam, I'm a favicon. So let's go ahead and add a favicon to our site. So what we need to do, I'm not in Dreamweaver, I'm in my folders. Okay, so I went to my computer. I'm going to go to my Web 2013 folder. I'm going to going to Adobe, Dreamweaver, Chapter 4. Now, do you see your different favicons I have here?
We can pick.
Well, guess which one is going to be for the striped umbrella? Okay.
The star that's in the banner.
Okay, the same, yes. So what I'm going to do is I have to right-click, and I'm going to copy it. Okay. I right-click, copy. Then I am going to go, not in Dreamweaver, still not in Dreamweaver. I'm going to go, I closed it, and I shouldn't have closed it. I'm going to go to my striped umbrella folder. And I'm going to right-click and paste.
Under assets.
Nope. Not under assets. Do not put it in a subfolder. Your favicon will not work if you put it in a subfolder. Now, do you think our favicon's just going to work? No.
Of course not.
We have to do a little bit of work. But basically, what we just did, when I look over here under my Files panel, if I refresh, you can see my favicon icon is within there. I now need to go to my code. Do you see where the page title is up here on the top?
Yep. Owner property.
Okay. We are going to go above it. And we have to type in a line of code. It might be easier for you to find this in your book on page 427. It's going to say link ref equals shortcut icon. Page 427, shortcut space icon, href, and if you don't have this typed in correctly, it will not show up. favicon.ico, type equals image /x icon. Page 427. Oh, I should put spaces. Sorry, I said no space and we need them. After your quotes, put in a space. So I have the line of code highlighted. Link ref, shortcut icon, href, favicon.ico, and it's important, if you don't spell favicon correctly, it won't link. Now, will this do this for every single page in Striped Umbrella?
Yes. Maybe. I have no clue.
Where did we just put the code? Only on About Us.
Oh.
So the only page that's going to have this link is going to be About Us.
So copy it.
Go ahead and save that. Let's preview that in browser. Oh, and it didn't work. Did yours work? Dang, what did I do? Shortcut icon. Everyone.
Is this supposed to be ICON?
This one is ICON.
No, the other one, favicon.ico.
Nope, this is ICO.
It's supposed to be
Who's requested?
REL.
Ah!
Well, mine still doesn't work.
All right, request list. Sorry, Taylor, Garbaleski, Mitchell, Volkman, Ashton here, Billy, Blau, Justin, Garbaleski, Jack, Mrs. Buhager, and Hannah is here.
It's Grassel. Do you want me just to give this to you Monday?
Yes, that would be great. Sorry.